Hello everybody, my name is Marlo and today I'm going to show you how to build a flower forest house in Minecraft. This is another episode of my tutorial series where I'm building a house for every main biome in the game. Make sure you subscribe to catch all of the new builds that we do, and you can also check out the playlist that will be linked in the description down below to find all of the other biome houses that have already been done. Also in the description will be a full materials list of all of the items that we're going to be using today. So this build is essentially a greenhouse and a regular house combined into one. And the first thing we're going to do is just lay out where both of those are going to go. So to begin with, we'll start with the regular house layout, and we're going to place 2 barrels 3 blocks apart, which is going to be the front entranceway. Then we can place 2 more 5 blocks back, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and on the 6th block we want to place 2 more, so we have this rectangle shape. And as for the greenhouse, we just want to grab some stripped oak logs, and on the left hand side of these barrels we're just going to place 2 of them coming in diagonally by 1. Then we're going to leave a gap of 2 and place another 2 more, and then another gap of 2 and place 2 more. So we should have this to begin with. So we're going to work on the greenhouse section first of all. And the first thing we're going to do is just grab some more stripped oak logs, and we're going to place an additional one on top of the ones we already have placed down. Then we can grab some oak stairs, and we're just going to place one of those on top of all of the logs facing outwards on both of the sides. And then we're just going to come to these first 2 pillars to begin with, and we're going to have 2 upside down stairs, then an oak trapdoor in the center, 2 more stairs, and a horizontal stripped oak log like so. As for the middle 2 pillars, we're going to do the same thing again with the upside down stairs, but this time no trapdoor in the middle, but we are going to have the stairs on top of that, and the oak log in the middle going horizontal. But under the log, instead of the trapdoor, we want to have a lantern. And for the final side, we want to do something a little bit different here and actually grab some stripped oak wood blocks. These are the same as the logs, just without this top texture. And we're using them because when we place them on the back of the stair, you don't see this, which we would be able to as there's going to be some glass next to it. So we just want to use the wood blocks as it looks a tiny bit nicer. But on top of them, we just want to place in 2 more oak stairs and a regular stripped oak log horizontal in the middle. Now, of course, our greenhouse is going to need some glass. So to begin with, we're going to come to this side that we've just complete and place down 3 white stained glass panes with another 3 on top of them and 1 more in the middle here. So as you can see, that's where we're making use of the stripped wood blocks, because if it was a regular log, it just doesn't look quite as nice. But now we can switch over to our full glass blocks, and on these 2 sections we're just going to place 3 of them next to these 3 blocks on both of the sides, so next to the 2 logs and the stairs. And as for the middle section, we just want to add 6 more of those to complete our greenhouse. Right after we place some more trapdoors, nearly forgot about this part. So on this front side, we just want to have 3 trapdoors at the bottom. Same again around the back of the build. Of course, you have to break any flowers that happen to be in the way, like this one here. And we're also going to do the same around this side, but of course, only 2 of them. Now we can move over to the house part of the build, and on top of all of these barrels, we're just very simply going to place down 3 oak logs. You have to crouch to place the first one on top of the barrel, otherwise you'll just open it up, which we don't want. Then on the front of the build to begin with, we can have a horizontal line of logs going across from one to the other of the top ones, and essentially just do that for all of the 4 sides, making sure they're all facing the same way, so we have some horizontal beams connecting all of the pillars. On the front beam and the back beam, we're going to place down some barrels, but we just need to step inside the build to do this, as we're going to place them backwards. So from the inside, we should see the front texture of the barrel, but from the outside, we should have the back texture. So we're trying to make it not look like a barrel, but also have function inside the house for storage. But now we can switch over to our yellow terracotta, and for the front side of the house, very simply, we're just going to make an archway with this for our doorway. Round to the right hand side, we're going to have 5 along the bottom, 5 along the top, and 1 each side, leaving those 3 in the middle for a window. We can do the same round the back that we did round the front, except we're just going to have an extra one at the bottom for a smaller window. And for the final one round here, very simply, we basically just want to fill all of this in, trying not to click on the barrels, with the exception of these two in the middle for a doorway leading to the greenhouse. Don't worry, those aren't the walls done. We're going to decorate them shortly, but for now we're just going to build our roof, which is actually going to be made out of granite blocks as well as brick blocks. But just to simplify things here, to save adding in the texture whilst we build it, I'm just going to do it afterwards. I think it's a little bit easier. So if you want to add the bricks in as you go or wait till after, it's up to you. But essentially grab whatever stair you're using. I'd recommend granite to begin with, and we're going to add two of them upside down on the top pillars like that. And then we're going to have another one coming off the back of it, and essentially just repeat this pattern all the way until we get to the top with an upside down stair like that. We can also go ahead and very quickly do the same around the back as well, just having this simple staircase pattern until we get to the same point as we were for the front of the house. Go ahead and grab some slabs, and we're just going to place one of them on top of the center block and then bring them all the way over so they connect like that. Then we can come to the right hand side and work on this part of the roof. So what we're going to do is add two upside down stairs facing into each other with a slab in front of the stair and another slab on top of that one. Then on this top slab we can have a full block next to it with an upside down stair in the middle to create this shape, which we can actually go ahead and copy around here. It's exactly the same, it's just quite close to touching the greenhouse, but it's not actually in the way, so it's all good. You can build it just as we did for the other side, and there we go. It's nicely going over our greenhouse without interfering. As for filling in the rest of the roof, we can just come to one of the sides to begin with, and we're going to have a granite stair on top of both of these logs. Then we're going to have a full block next to it, and we just want to place a temporary one here and then have a line of 3 granite slabs like that. And then behind these slabs we're going to have some full granite blocks, which we can then place a stair coming off to the side of, just like that. So they're sloping downwards, leaving us with this open gap, and to fill that all in we just very simply place a forward facing stair which bends this one round to the side so you can't see through. And of course, just quickly copy that around the other side too. If you haven't already, now is where you can go around and mix in some bricks. We get a nice textured roof as opposed to a plain granite one. You're aiming for about a 50-50 ratio here of bricks and granite. With the roof done, we can now actually decorate all of our walls here. So starting around the front of the house, we're of course going to have our doorway right in the center with 2 brick walls either side of it, an oak fence on top of them, oak trapdoor on top of the fences, and a slab in the middle for an awning out the front. And then underneath this stair we'll have a chain and a lantern. As for the right hand side of the build, we're going to start by adding in 3 light grey stained glass windows in the gap we left, with 3 coarse dirt just under it, an upside down oak stair on either side of the coarse dirt with 3 trapdoors out the front covering them up. We're essentially making a flower bed here, but on the side we just want to have 2 fences on top of the stairs with a slab on top of them, then go up by half a block and place 3 more. So we get this covering on our flower bed, which of course we can plant some flowers on top of. The pig loves them. As for the back, in our space for the window, we want to have our window with another light grey stained glass pane, an oak fence gate in front of it, and we're going to open it on up and stick an oak trapdoor on top of it for a little awning shutter design. And same as what we did for the front, we'll have a chain underneath this stair with a lantern. And the final thing we need to do for the exterior of the build is on all of our pillars here, all 4 of them, for the house part that is, not the greenhouse, we're just going to have 4 signs like this. So there's 1, there's 2, there's 3, and there's 4. And with that done, the exterior of the build is all finished. We can head on inside and start work on the interior. We're going to start in the greenhouse to begin with here, and the very first thing we're going to do is just place down our water sources so we're able to hydrate our farmland to plant our crops on. So where we're going to place them is essentially under these 4 pillars. So what we just want to do is break the blocks underneath all of them. We will replace them afterwards, don't worry. But we just want to place 4 of them under all of the pillars and then place back the blocks that aren't obviously where the water is. So don't do that, otherwise the water is going to go. Want to leave it there and just replace the others. Then you can go ahead and till your soil, all of it, with the exception of these 3 back here. They can actually become oak planks like so. You can also, not necessary, but just a very minor detail, is you see under these middle oak logs, we can actually tell there's dirt underneath. Looks minutely better if you replace it with an oak stripped log. You don't have to do that, but the option is there if you want it. You can also go ahead and place 2 barrels here, either side of the archway with a chest on top, just for a little bit of storage, and of course go ahead and plant whatever crop you would like to grow in here. Just in case you're not a fan of this idea and you'd like to do something else, you could always move some bees in here and have them fly around the flower forest. That would be really nice too. You just have to make sure you left them some sort of entranceway so they could get in and out, possibly over here, for instance. So that is the greenhouse all done. We can now step inside here and work on the actual house, starting by adding in some oak planks all the way across the center of the ceiling in that gap to fill it in. Then we can cover up these 4 corner blocks with some oak stairs, and as you can see, you can still access these corner barrels. There's just 1/4 of a block to reach for, but that's fine. Then in between these stairs, we can have 3 oak trapdoors on both of the sides and just keep them flat against the ceiling. And on the 6 remaining gaps where we have the brick and granite that we want to cover up, we're just going to have 3 more barrels for a little bit of extra storage. Now we're going to turn this house into a 2-story house. I know what you're thinking, it's already tiny, do we even have the room? We do, just about. I like to do cozy builds, they're my favorite. So there's not much room for movement, but it works. So what we're going to do is, as we walk through the main doorway here, in this top right yellow terracotta corner, we're just going to place an oak plank with a ladder on the front of it. Then we're going to have an oak stair here next to this glass pane, and then another one here. So this is essentially how we're getting up to this next level, which currently doesn't exist. So what we need to do is grab some oak slabs, and next to this block, we're just going to place 2 of them and bring them all the way over to the other side here. Of course, you don't need to place any blocks here, otherwise it's going to block your way up. But this is how we obviously enter the second level, where we have all of our storage. The next thing we need to do is just add a little bit of a railing. So we're going to get some temporary blocks in the middle here and just place 3 of them like that. And then on this side where we have our staircase, we're just going to place 3 trapdoors on the temporary blocks and fold them upright so we have a little banister and we're not going to fall down and hurt ourselves. Not that you probably would, it's not that big of a fall. For the floor down here on the bottom level, we just want to go ahead and break all of these grass blocks here to replace with some stripped birch logs. You can also break the one the doorway is on, and that's where we can actually start building. So to begin with, we're just going to place a stripped birch log facing this way, and of course go ahead and place your door back down. But there's a pattern we're going to do here, and it basically goes like this. So every time there's the side texture, we want to place the log on that. So you face it forward to begin with, and then obviously you place it on the 2 sides. For the next lot, it's the 2 sides here, and then this way. So it's kind of like a checkerboard pattern. Very, very simple. Just make sure you don't get any that are like this. It's pretty hard to tell, even if you did make a tiny little alteration, it would probably go unnoticed. But I think it looks a little bit better if you just have them all kind of rotating in the same pattern. And we can also go ahead and plop a door just right here to separate the greenhouse from the regular house. Now we can go around and decorate all of this empty space that we have, starting by placing 3 bookshelves under our staircase here to make it seem a bit more structured and solid. And then just opposite the bookshelves, we're going to place a loom, but we don't want to place it this way round. We want to actually possibly break this slab temporarily if you're on bedrock, but if you're on Java, you should be able to crouch and kind of place one down like this, so it's backwards, and you get this side texture, which kind of looks like some drawers for some storage, even though that's not what it is, of course. But on top of the loom, we'll have a chest, and we'll also have one just to the side of it like that. Over in this corner, we'll have 2 furnaces and a blast furnace with a lantern on top of this one, which should nicely light up the entire house, and you won't have to worry about mob spawning. Over in this corner, finally down here, we'll have a decorated pot with a flower pot on top of it, and then something to go inside of it. Then if we just head upstairs, super simply, all we're having here is a crafting table with a bed just beside it. And over here in this corner, we're going to have a double chest. And there we go. That's it. That is the house all done. I really hope you guys enjoyed watching. Thank you ever so much for doing that. And I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.